In today's world, safety is no longer reassured. In today's world, safety is no longer reassured. It is something that you actually need to seek out and specifically have it on hand. What you need is something like a BB gun. But is BB gun the ultimate protection for you in self-defense situation? In this video, we're going to be examining a bunch of different BB guns and which one should you actually be picking for yourself in case you need to use one of those. So which is the best BB gun for self-defense purposes and which ones you should not actually be getting? So we'll start with this one. This is a classic. This is probably the cheapest one that we have here. This is the Crossman. The problem with this one is exactly what it is. It's a pump action. You gotta pump this plenty of times before you're able to use it. Then you're loading this up with one, like this, and then you're gonna be shooting this one. Just in case there was something in there. And this is it. This is the exact issue with this. Out of ammo. One bullet, you miss, and you're done. Unless you're an exceptional marksmanship, and this small pellet, it's like this small. It's not going to deter that many people or whatever threat that you're facing. In many terms, this is probably the worst self-defense handgun, but the cheapest one that you can own. I'm going to be examining some other ones, which are way better than this one. So the next thing, and they're not in any particular order. Oh, this one is the one from Han Solo. Unfortunately, this one is armed. Because it is armed. Oops. Because it is armed, I took out this out of it. So this one is the Han Solo one, the Mauser, and this is a semi-auto version. So what you're actually doing is you're taking this, and this is all metallic, by the way, all metal. This thing is super heavy for its size. You're putting this in here, and you're going to be hitting it in, and then you can shoot this. I don't want to hit this in because it is armed. It does have the right inside here this U2. So if I do hit this in, it can actually potentially shoot some stuff out of it. The whole thing about this one is a weapon. This one is semi-automatic. It makes a whole lot of noise and it shoots a stream of BBs. This thing is exceptionally dangerous. It is small in size, and the biggest problem with this as a self-defense weapon, there's actually two. One, it is heavy. Two, it is powered. The weakest link in this is just this, the CO2 cartridge. What's wrong with this? Pretty much, although it has a bunch of balls that it shoots with, which can actually ricochet and actually hit you back, which is one problem with those. The second problem is that it uses BBs, not pellets. And BBs are just that, they ricochet. The biggest problem is the canister. The canister itself, I don't know. Like when I'm going to be putting this in, I don't know how long this canister been here. And after a while, the canister could be dead. And if it's dead, guess what? This weapon is not going to fire at all. Why it's not firing right now? There's nothing in here. Why it's not going to be firing if I stick this in? Because this might be empty. Apart from this being actually empty, this by itself is a formidable, it's a pretty badass weapon. But it is heavy. It is scary looking, and yet I'm on the fence with this in a self-defense situation, but this does, and it's going to make a huge amount of noise. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you here is actually this one here. Let's open this up. I hope I don't have another accident. This thing's just keep on slipping. Got the gun itself right here. Don't worry, it can't shoot without this inside here. So this one also has the canister in here. Same exact problem. This one is actually a paintball gun. It shoots the balls. The problem with this is the following. It's small balls. They're not that big. You can't actually pick your own ammo for this. The only ones you can have is those small balls over here. Then you're going to be putting this in, and it runs into the same exact issue again. So I'm not going to go actually and snap this in, because then it's going to be totally loaded and I can actually start shooting with this thing. And then, of course, this is not the place for me to shoot this in the inside. Now, the biggest problem with this thing is definitely the following. The problem is not the size. It's not the realistic look, which is very realistic, by the way. The problem with this is pretty much the ammo, once again, is the biggest drawback. Small ammo, it uses a canister. Once again, the canisters are always going to be a drawback in a self-defense situation. But what I do like about this one, and this one is the T4E, is its realistic look. Very realistic look, intimidating, small size, and probably one of the better self-defense weapons in terms of size by itself. That's why I actually really like this one. It's one of my favorites, by the way. But if you want some like real protection, you want something really powerful, nothing beats this one here. So what is this? This is the T4E once again, another T4E. This one is also loaded. I hold them all up. And there is no bullets. That's how I keep them safe. No bullets in this one. You see the red thing here, it means this is loaded. I'm not going to be pulling the trigger because this one actually has the CO2 cartridge right inside here. Because of that, I cannot pull the trigger. It's just going to make a lot of noise because there's nothing inside. But this thing is not only realistic, it is one of the most super powerful ones, and it kind of looks like some kind of a miniature shotgun, and it's not. Real shotgun is much more better looking, and it's not this small. More powerful, makes a lot more noise, but this thing is super extremely painful. One of the most powerful weapons I have ever seen that you can legally get in the United States, and you don't have to have a permit. So that's one of those. And the best thing about this, you can use custom ammo for this. But there is, apart from the CO2 issue, the biggest problem is that it only has 2 shots to it. After you shoot this once, there's 2 bullets. You can shoot one at a time, or you can shoot both of them. But when you do, that's it. It's done. It's out of ammo. This thing is no longer a practical self-defense weapon because of the weapon limitation. Now, if you wanted to raise some real hell and cause some real trouble, you have something like this. The Sig MP. Not only it is realistic looking, it looks like the real deal. This one is not armed, doesn't have anything in here, it's not gonna shoot because the canister is not inside. This thing is heavy, extremely heavy. This thing is heavy as a brick. Looks like the real deal, real realistic. This is extremely badass. The biggest problem with this is this right here. Not only this is super plastic, how to load up, it takes the small BBs in here, which can ricochet on impact. In fact, this is just it's almost the same thing, pretty much. This is just bigger. And the biggest problem with this is that its CO2 cartridge is not a CO2 cartridge. right here is where the cartridge goes in, right there, right inside here. And it uses a big tank of CO2, or you can have a converted one put in here, which makes this not as powerful as it should be. But that is actually this weakest point. If this thing breaks, if the CO2 cartridge is out of valve, this thing is not good. Which brings me to one of the best self-defense weapons out there on the planet. Well, not only on the planet, but for the price, for the BBs, is the Boyana one. Not only you get this fancy looking thing here, you get the firearm, the gun, the cartridges, and you can even make your own custom self-defense weapons. So what we have here is the pistol, the custom ammo, or the ammo itself. In some states it's legal to own. See, I took it out. In some states it's legal to own pepper balls or kinetic balls. In my state it's not legal to have pepper balls, so we can have kinetic balls, we can have metal balls, we can have all kinds of fancy things by creating your own custom ammo. You can do this, easy to do, create your own custom ammos. And why is this the ultimate self-defense weapon right here? One, it doesn't look like a gun, it actually looks like kind of like a taser. Two, we have 2 of those. 3, it can shoot 5 of those. 4, well, you can reload, you can have another one on the side, or you have a few of those on the side, so you can reload at any time. Now, the best thing about this is that it uses the big 0.68 millimeter, which means this is going to be super painful if somebody is going to get hit with that. You can use pepper balls, you can use metal balls, you can use rubber balls, you can use all kinds of custom ammo in here as well. And this is something you can't actually do, and in fact they work. The website says they might not, because they want you to buy directly from them, but guess what? I tried it. You can put your own weapons in here. 0.68 works, and it's gonna shoot really well. Another thing about this is the safety mechanism that this one actually has. Even if it is fully loaded, it's not gonna shoot unless you press this once. When you press this once, this one is not loaded by the way, this one has the miniature CO2s. You have to buy this from the company. That's the only drawback of this. And it goes straight in here. Once it goes straight in here and you close this up, you can see in the video when I talk about this, is that it arms itself, which means the CO2 cartridge never goes bad over time. You get fresh one every single time you arm it with this. Just press on it right here and stick this in. And you're going to be shooting at the target. Another good thing about this, not only it is lightweight, small in size, 2, it's not going to be mistaken in an actual weapon. It looks kind of like a taser, so no police accidentally probably is not going to actually think this is the real deal. But be careful, you don't want to get shot by actual policemen. But in a self-defense, real situation like here, lightweight, good method of using the CO2 over here. This is kind of like a paintball gun. And hot more weapons. Stealth, small, probably one of the best ones out to get. Altogether, lots of different weapons for you to own in case you encounter one of those situations. But the best thing for you to do is never to get into those situations in the first place. Avoid them when you actually can. But in case something ever happens and you need to resort to some kind of a weapon, if you have this loaded with pepper balls, if it is legal in your state, this is probably the best thing for you to actually use. The pepper balls are harmless. They 99% of the time, nobody is going to get hurt here, and it's going to immobilize your attacker right there with something like this. So this is actually pretty good weapon for self-defense situation, probably one of the better ones that exists. Well, there's other ones over here which are really not made for it. All those things are really made not for self-defense. They're made for target shooting and target practice. This one is one of the few that is made for the purpose of self-defense. Thank you so much for watching, and the biggest question of course would be for you, and I'm not pointing at me, it's just the camera thing. And even if I was, this thing not armed. The canister is not in here. But the biggest question for you would be the following. Which one should you be getting for yourself? And if you have the question about how effective are those to stop an attacker, make sure you watch the videos right down below. Well, I'm going to be testing them out, and you can see how I test some of those against just targets. And you can see the power using against different kind of targets. Watch them right below and check it out. So in case you want to get one of those for yourself, link below that you can get a super discount on this one or any of the other ones as well. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you learned something new today, and if you did and I earned your subscription, make sure to sub, like, and see you in the next video of the Geek Tech Show. And hopefully you learned something new today.